What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Welcome to Pretty Dece, your daily entertainment and pop culture show. Thank you very much for joining me here on the show. We're going to talk some video games today because Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct today. They were calling it a Nintendo Direct Mini, a smaller version of their normal shows they put out to represent all the new stuff that's coming out on Nintendo platforms within the next year, usually. This one represented the new stuff that we don't know about that's coming out in 2018. So it hipped us to some of the games that are coming out and some of the new DLC and content that's coming out for existing games. So there was a lot of cool stuff announced in this. Even though it was a mini, we did get some really awesome information. We found out that we are going to get some new ports over to the Switch, games that had showed up on the Wii U, but not a lot of people ended up playing them because, again, they were Wii U games. So stuff like Hyrule Warriors, which, people really enjoyed, but maybe didn't actually, not that many people actually played it because, again, on the Wii U. So now people that own the Switch are going to get a chance to check out Hyrule Warriors. That's one that I had skipped over initially, not being a massive fan of Dynasty Warriors games, but I'll definitely give it a shot because I heard really good things. I love Zelda, and getting to unlock all of those Zelda characters and costumes seems like a real blast. This is the definitive edition of the game, so it's everything that the 3DS version and the Wii U version had put together, and there are also some Breath of the Wild costumes thrown in. Aside from that, we found out we're getting Donkey Kong Tropical Breeze, which is a great game if you're a big fan of Donkey Kong Country. It got really, really high marks when it came out, so again, a lot of people missed that game, so you're going to get a chance to play it. And from all accounts, it's a really, really great platformer and a really great continuation of the Donkey Kong Country franchise. We're also going to get games that maybe you didn't expect to have show up on a Nintendo platform. We're going to get Payday 2, and we're going to get maybe the weirdest of all, and it was the announcement they saved for the end, a Dark Souls 1 remaster, a remaster of the original Dark Souls game for the Switch. You can play Dark Souls on the go now. That maybe is a thing someone wants to do. I'm certainly not a gamer that is a glutton for punishment. I fell off of Dark Souls so incredibly fast. Those games are 100% not for me. But I can really respect people who really get into those games and want to just devour every inch of those. So I'm sure some people are really stoked about that announcement. I'm sure for some people that is the coolest thing that they heard all day long. The coolest things that I heard in this Direct, though, are these next two pieces of news. And the first is that we're getting a new Mario Tennis game. It's a Mario Tennis Aces, and it's actually going to have a story mode. That's probably the biggest announcement around it. We haven't had a story mode in a game like this since the Game Boy Advance. And story modes in Mario sports games are usually pretty good. They usually, go a long ways and have a lot more RPG elements than you would expect them to have. And it was super cool kind of leveling up your characters and making them better at whatever respective sport they were playing. So I'm really excited. I hope that this story mode is very fleshed out. And bare minimum, this is going to be an awesome game to play on the Switch and a really awesome game to play, with one Joy-Con apiece on the same Switch screen when you're traveling with your Switch as well. It'll be a great game, just like Mario Kart, to take with you on the go. I'm really interested to kind of see what the controls look like, if they're very, GameCube-like in how they operate, or if they, really try to shoehorn in also some motion controls for the tennis. I really am a huge fan, not of tennis really in and of itself, but of tennis video games. Tennis video games are undercover awesome. I don't know if you've played too many of them, but I'm a big, massive fan because it all comes down to essentially a game of Pong, if you really think about it. Pong is an abstracted version of tennis, and, you have a little bit more realisticness with the actual tennis players, but basically it's Pong, and Pong is super darn fun. So I'm really excited for this new Mario Tennis game. It's going to be a day one purchase for me when that comes out on the Switch. And now the final game that I'm the most excited about from this Direct, I will tell you that I was in public and I almost squealed with joy when I heard this news. I was almost shaking. I was so excited. It's a port, but it is a port of a DS game, and this game is one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely in my top 5, top 10 favorite games of all time, and that is The World Ends With You. Not a lot of people have played this game, but it is an RPG, and its art style is kind of in the Final Fantasy kind of Kingdom Hearts type like anime style. But it's very different from those games, and it's set in kind of a modern day, like super hip kind of punk rock Japan. It's got an amazing soundtrack, and the game was incredibly inventive for the time. There really wasn't ever a game like it before. It was an RPG. You're running around talking to people, and you're getting into random encounters. But the battle system is where the game went really crazy, really off the rails. The battle system basically took up both screens on the DS, and you would control characters on both the screens at one time. The character on the bottom you would control with the touchscreen. You would use the stylus and kind of draw out what their actions would be. And the character on the top screen, you would input button commands like you were playing a fighting game, like up, up, left, left, right, right, up, up. And you had to kind of like split your brain to figure out how to control both of them at one time. It was super challenging. It was something that you could actually build the skill of and get better at as you went. And it was incredibly fun. The battle system did not get old throughout that story. The story was super good. There was a ton of collectibles. The art is really, really amazing. I love all the look of the enemies in those games and the main characters. It's a really awesome anime style. I'm so excited, so incredibly excited to play this game again in HD on my Switch, and again to have that portability aspect of it on the Switch. The Switch is really the perfect modern platform for this game, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. It's also going to have some new content, and I'm super excited to see the extent of that content and what it all entails. So that's definitely the game now. Officially, I am the most anticipating here for 2018. The World Ends With You on the Switch. So that is the Nintendo Direct. Lots of cool news happening there. Lots of cool stuff to get excited about. And I'm sure all of you out there, if you're Switch owners or Nintendo fans, found something that you were excited about as well. Let me know. Call in, leave a comment, send me an email. I'd love to hear what you're excited about. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today. Make sure that you like Pretty Dece on Facebook, facebook.com/PrettyDeceShow. Follow me on Twitter @PrettyDeceShow and visit PrettyDeceShow.com. So make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you are listening or watching on. Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe on Anchor, so you never miss any of these daily episodes. And you can bet that we'll be back tomorrow for another one.